fighter, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's do this!
Hi, family. Welcome back once again. I just want to, again, like I do every single week, just thank everybody for all the love and support that you're showing this YouTube channel, The Gold Corner. Again, when I initially started, it was just I wanted to create a family and I wanted to create just this platform where parents can come in and speak about their children, about their warriors, and just create a family here to where we feel lonely, when we feel like we don't have anybody, that we can always, connect with each other and become this family, the Gold Corner family. So once again, just thank you so much to everybody for taking the time out of their busy day to come in and check out this week's episode. If you still haven't done so, hit the little gold ribbon that does subscribe you to our channel. As many subscribers that we can get, it actually helps us promote the channel and helps us reach a lot more places than we need to. Spreading childhood cancer awareness, because we only get 4%, 4 pennies on the dollar. That's all that our children get for childhood cancer research. That's not enough. They could give us 80% and it still wouldn't be enough. And unless you've been through it and unless you've gone through it, you don't know how difficult this can be. Well, this week I do have a family that it hits home because they are from home. I actually had the opportunity to see through Facebook and through the news, the story of baby Isaiah. And this beautiful baby boy that's currently going through what he's going through. I actually reached out to the mom and we talked for a little bit. And I initially reached out to see if she needed anything, that for her to feel free to count with the Gold Corner and the family that we have here. And she is actually joining us today. So we have Valerie Feria. Valerie, I wanted to thank you so much for being a part of the Gold Corner. I know that the situation that you're in, a lot of us were in, and a lot of parents are in. So people want to hear your story, people. And I know that you love talking about your warrior, because I've seen this little boy in the videos and I've seen him in all these things, and he's out
Running around the
running
ghost.
around, like nothing's going on, because they're being
Yeah,
kids, and that's what they should be, is kids. They should not worry about anything else. So Valerie, thank you once again for being here, for being a part of the Gold Corner. I want to let you know that as myself and all the parents that have been featured and all the people, all the subscribers, we're all behind Isaiah here. We're in his corner. So we wanted to get you on here so you can speak to us a little bit about him. So like I do every week, the floor is yours, and talk to us about your warrior.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. And Isaiah's here. He's running around. He's a little popsicle. We got to let him calm down a little bit. And he made it in. He's here. So Isaiah was born September 30th of 2016. He was actually born 4 weeks early. He was born at 36 weeks. Perfectly fine. 6 pounds, 9 ounces. Okay. Healthy. There was no concerning issues when he was born. We went home with him the next day. Fast forward 3 years later, come November of last year, November of 2019, Isaiah started, like I had mentioned before, I honestly want to say that my kids had COVID in November. Him and his brother got very sick. They had a hard time breathing. They had fevers that weren't breaking. They had chest pains. They had back pains. His brother had constant diarrhea. So I do want to say that they did get COVID. They said that he had bronchitis, but looking at it now, it's kind of like, I think it was something more, but they got through it. Isaiah has always been my happy-go-lucky, crazy, funny, goofy kid, great eater. If there's one thing I noticed about Isaiah, from birth to now, he's always been a great eater. Anything you kind of throw at him, he's kind of like, oh, I'll eat that. Oh, I'll eat this. So after November, we kind of noticed that he wasn't eating. After he was done being sick, his appetite never really fully came back. He wasn't eating as much. He was constantly drinking water and having accidents in the bed. So every night from November to about February, he was having constant accidents in his bed, just drinking water. When one day out of the blue, my mom called me and she said, you know what? I think Isaiah has diabetes. And I was like, what? And she said, I think he has diabetes. The way that he drinks water, we stopped giving him water at like 6 because we were like, no, you keep wetting the bed. We're not, you're not going to have anything to drink. He'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd find him drinking water from the faucet in the bathroom because we weren't giving him water because he kept having accidents. And so she's like, you know what? It's a, how do I say it? It's a sign. Like it's a, something's going on. I think he's got, diabetes. Hi. Go ahead and sit down right here, please. Mommy's talking. Sit down right here, please. You can sit next to your brother. So I kind of thought about it, and she said, he's constantly thirsty. He's constantly wetting the bed. Let's call the doctor. So I called his doctor, and his pediatrician, Dr. Isela Ibarra. I called her and I said, you know what? This is what's been going on. What do you think? And she said, you know what? It could be. If you have a machine at home, do me a favor and check his blood sugar. So my dad has diabetes. So we went home. I checked his blood sugar. I left work and it came out 293. We were like, what? So we took him to the hospital. We were in the hospital. They checked his blood sugar there and it had went down to like 170 something. So they were like, okay, something's definitely not right here. They admitted him, of course, to the hospital. They referred us to their endocrinologist there, who I believe was Dr. Rao at the time. Yes, please. Dr. Rao at the time, and she said, I want to do a series of tests. One of the tests that she did was a water deprivation test, where they take away water for at least 12 hours. She said, can you do it at home? Do you think that you'll be? And I said, oh no. I said, he's gonna go to the faucet and he's gonna drink water from. I said, no, there's no way I can do that. Please sit up here at home, And so she said, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll have him admitted. And so she did that. And within 8 hours, she diagnosed him with something called, boys, please sit down right there. Diabetes insipidus. Sorry, him and his brother there all over the place. She diagnosed him with something called diabetes insipidus, which affects the sodium in his body. So it wasn't his sugar that was technically fluctuating, it was his salt, the sodium in his body. So they put him on medication, and they did a series of tests because she said, well, we know what he has, but now we need to figure out, why. So they put him on the medication, and they said it'll control, his thirst, and you could see it, working right away within 24 hours. His appetite was back. He was himself. She said, now we need to know, why he has it. So she ordered up a full body MRI, X-rays, just to look out. And she actually came back that day and she told us, he's fine. There's nothing we can find, but with this, what it's called is diabetes insipidus, there's a reason behind it. So I'm gonna refer you to an oncologist. And we were like, of course, when you hear oncologist, you're kind of like, well, why? And she said, because over the course of 5 years, unfortunately, he can develop cancer with this. So we were like, okay, please lower it. We were like, okay, we'll see an oncologist. And that's when, my mother was like, how do you feel about Dr. Canales? And she said, you know what, whoever you guys choose, whoever you guys want to see, that's fine by me. So, my mom, knowing him, was like, okay, well, we'll go ahead and we'll see Dr. Canales. We made an appointment. So when we went to go see Dr. Canales, he let us know, he was like, oh, well, he's got a small, abscess in his brain. We'll take care of it. And we looked at him and we were like, what? Like, what do you mean he's got a small? So that's something that Dr. Rao failed to tell us. Because when she came back and she said, oh, no, everything's fine, okay. we thought he was fine. And that's when she, Dr. Canales was like, well, no, he's got a small abscess. He called it an abscess in his brain. We'll go ahead and opt it. And we said, okay. He asked us how we felt about, Dr. Rao, and he said that he worked very well with Dr. Granados. So we, of course, went to go see second opinion. Dr. Granados is another endo here in El Paso as well. So we went to go see him, and he great. Isaiah really liked him. He explained the abscess and how it worked and the cause of it and how it caused the diabetes and syphilis. So we were like, okay, this is it. This is going to be your doctor. So that was in February. They had scheduled Isaiah to do MRIs every 6 months so we can see how it's progressing, if it's growing, if it's shrinking, if it stays the same. And in May, Dr. Granados was actually the one to recommend and say, you know what, let's do another MRI. Let's be safe. Might as well just get one done to see how he's doing. And we said, okay, that's fine. So we scheduled the MRI. I took him to get it done. We came back home. A week later, we had an appointment for the follow-up. And we went into his office, and I can hear him like on the phone talking to Dr. Canales to the side. And he said, Isaiah Santana, what do you want me to do? It's, and then it kind of cut off. I guess he walked away from the door. And I got this feeling like in my stomach. I was like, something's off. Something's not right. And sure enough, Dr. Granados comes in and he says, I'm not even going to see him. You need to go to the hospital. And I looked at him and I was like, what? And that day is kind of just, like, I even now going to his office, I get anxiety. I can't be in there. I can't be in there for long periods of time because it makes me scared. It makes me nervous. So he said, you need to take him to the hospital. You need to admit him now. And I was kind of like, well, why? And honestly, I can't even tell what he said. I heard the word chemotherapy, and I don't even remember what he said. I can't remember what he said. I know he explained to me the Langerhans, he explained it, but I kind of just froze. And I even to this day, I'm like, I even tell him, I'm like, I don't even know what you told me. And he goes, oh, I know you can't remember. And it was hard for me to talk to you, but you took it well. So he handed me a bunch of papers and he said, here's all your papers. Dr. Canales is going to meet you at the hospital. You need to take him now. Mommy. So of course, I'm kind of just like, well, what do I do? So I called my mother and I'm like, Mom, and she's like, what's going on? And I started crying and I said, he has to do chemotherapy. And she's like, what do you mean he has to do chemo? And she's calling me and she's talking to me and she's like, well, Valerie, what is it? And I'm like, I don't know. I just remember taking pictures of all the papers that he gave me and I sent them to her and I said, figure it out. I don't know. All I know is I have to take him to the hospital. And I called his father and I said, you need to meet me at the house. Like you need to meet me at the house. We have to take him to the hospital and he has to start chemotherapy. And he was like, what? He was like, what are you talking about? And, even to this day, he tells me, he's like, I can't even remember what you told me or what I told you. And I came to the house because when I take him to the doctor, I have him, in his little shorts and his, nicer clothes and his hair is combed and I came home and my mom calls me and she goes, where are you? And I said, I came home. And she said, well, you need to take him, Valerie. And I said, he's not comfortable, Mom. I need to change his clothes. I need to get him his socks and his slippers and I need to get him his blanket and his pillow. And he was, of course, I'm crying hysterically in the car all the way from Schuster to, we live over here off of George Dieter and Pelicano, and I'm you know, crying, trying to just to make sure I don't crash. And I get home and he's like, Mom, why are you crying? Why are you? I was like, I'm not crying. I was like, I'm laughing. I don't know what you're talking about, because yes, I have an ugly cry. So he's like, why are you crying? I was like, I'm not crying. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And he goes, please, I need you to please cry. He goes, no, Mom, you're crying. And I said, I'm not crying. I'm fine. You know, I don't know what you're talking about. And his dad got here within minutes, and we were both in here. We were both in the room, just crying, just crying. And he's sitting there in the living room, and he's watching cartoons, and he's kind of just like, why are you guys crying? And we're like, we're not crying. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. We're not crying. So Isaiah loves chocolate donuts. So we packed him up. I got his bags. I got all of his stuff that he needed. And we drove him to Dunkin' Donuts, and we got him a dozen thing of chocolate donuts. And we went to the hospital, and we were, there. We were there. We got there on May 29th. And we were there until June 3rd. So when we got there, within about 30 minutes of us being there, Dr. Gonzalez did show up. He did say, you know what, it's not an abscess, it's a tumor, and it's growing. It's growing at a rapid pace from February to May, in the time that we have looked over it. It has grown, so he does need to start chemotherapy right away. And I was just like, okay. And of course, being through COVID, it was just me by myself. Like, I couldn't have my mom there. I couldn't have their dad there. It was just me. And he had surgery on June 1st. They inserted the port. They did a spinal tap. They did a bone marrow. They did everything all at once. And they said, we're just going to get it out of the way. We're going to get it all done. And that's what they did. So he had all that done. They allowed us to go home for those 2 days, for a couple of days. And then we went back on June 5th. It was June 5th. We went back after 2 days, and he started his chemo. So they let us know that it was going to be for 5 days out of every month that he would be receiving his chemotherapy. And he's taken to it fairly well. He has his days, he gets, like, right now, really excited. And what I love is that he's got a lot of energy still. Obviously, he's always playing with his brother, and his brother keeps him a kid. His brother keeps him young and playing and still with all this energy, which I love. But he does get tired to the point where he's like, relax, my head hurts. I have a headache, and the lights are hurting my eyes. Like, I need you to turn off the lights. So I'm waiting for him right now to actually tell me to turn off the lights, because my head hurts. So, that's one of the things that we kind of had to adjust to. I did change his whole eating habits. I changed everything to organic, nothing out of a can. He has his days where he's like, please, can I have some chicken nuggets from McDonald's? And I'm like, fine, you can have, some, that's fine. But, boys, I'm sorry, they're over here, they're playing. Hey, I need you guys to go over there for a little tiny, please. Okay, no, I need you to go over there for a little tiny so I can finish here, please. With daddy over there. Okay, you can go with your daddy. Your daddy's already done. No, we don't want to go. You want the boy. Go, babes, please. No, I'm sorry. Let me get them. Let me get them over there really quick, okay? Okay. So we went back to start his chemo. He takes to it well. He, doesn't get much of the nausea. He has his days where he's like, oh, that smells horrible. Like, I'm not going to eat that. And he goes kind of through these phases of food that he likes. So one month it was, I want pancakes and I'm going to live off of pancakes and sausage for the whole month. And we were like, okay, it's fine. So there I was some days at 2, 3 in the morning, because we were in the hospital for so long that our sleeping habits kind of just changed, where I'm up at 2, 3 in the morning and he's like, I want pancakes. And I was like, all right, let's make some pancakes. 2 in the morning. And so he had that for a while. And then last month it was bagels. So he went through like a bagel phase of that's all I want to eat. I'm not going to eat anything else. That's all I'm going to eat. And but other than that, you know, he's I've seen, unfortunately, other kids who have it a lot worse than Isaiah. Does that make sense? Like some days I even feel bad, like saying like, oh, he has cancer, because people are like, he doesn't look like he has cancer. And I'm like, I know he doesn't, but he does. And I don't know how to explain it. I feel like honestly we were kind of blessed or lucky in a way that we found it how we did, as fast as we did, how we're treating it as fast. And you know, other kids, I just feel like other kids just have it way worse. Like I feel like, you know, people have it way worse. Like I shouldn't be complaining about anything, because again, like I just feel like other people have it worse. Like we're blessed. My family, unfortunately through COVID and everything, I stopped working. I was like, you know what, I'm not working. I worked in property management for 8 years, and I was just like, I can't work. Their dad is the only one working, so he kind of helps, and my parents are amazing, and grandparents and family, you know, and friends and just acquaintances, like, you know, people that we've met have just been so amazing that we are blessed. I do want to say that we're blessed. We're lucky. We don't have it that hard. We have a roof over our head. He's got food. He's got water. He's a lucky kid. I feel like he's a lucky kid. And that's why it's hard for me sometimes to even be like, oh, he's got cancer, and people are like, are you okay? Do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like I'm good. The reason that you know, people ask me like, how are you taking it so well? Like you look at me and I'm you know, I'm kind of put together here and there. I you know, my cousins, you know, they praise me every day. I love those girls. They're like, Valerie, you look so beautiful, and I don't know how you do it. And you know, even some of the nurses at the hospital are like, you come in here every day and your makeup's done and your hair's done and you're ready. And I'm like, it's you know, the way that he is, he laughs every day, he plays every day. I still treat him like I do his brother. If you're gonna misbehave, I'm gonna get mad at you. You're gonna go to timeout, you know, you're being a bad kid. You know, he's still my son. You know, I still love him like nothing's changed, which is what I'm grateful for. So I see him playing and laughing and crying and being a kid, it makes me like, oh, I'm okay. You know, like to see him okay, I'm okay. I know if it was different, I'd totally be having meltdowns here and there, which I do. Some days I'm kind of like, why him? Like, why? Like, was it because he was born early? Is it something that I could have done differently? Is it, you know, it's something, you know, even my mom, you know, tells me, she goes, when he was born, I always felt like, I don't know, like something in my gut always told me like there's something special about him. There's, you know, because he's the light of her life. I mean, of course, so is my other son, but he's a little bit closer to his grandmother than even I am, or my sisters. And, you know, he calls her mom. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's your mom. So she's going to cook for you and she's going to clean for you because that's your mommy over there. And she's like, don't be mean to him, you know, he's fine. Or even when he's fighting with his brother and I get mad at him, she's like, leave him alone. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna leave him alone. Just because he's sick doesn't mean he gets to be a brat, you know. I'm gonna get mad at him. And she's kind of just like, okay, whatever. But she, you know, we actually had this conversation the other day. She told me, she's like, you know what, I've always felt something was special, something was going to be different about him, and you know, it sucks that this is it, but like I said, I'm kind of grateful that that's it. Like, it's not, like I said, other kids have it worse. Other kids have, there's more aggressive kinds of cancers, there's more aggressive kind of stages where, you know, I've seen kids that stay there the night for their chemotherapy and we go home every day. So we're there every 5 days, but we're outpatient. So we're there, we get our chemo, we go home. We go back the next day, we get our chemo, we go home. It's not like I've just seen, it's like a whole other world. It's a whole other world, and I don't know how some of these other parents do it. I don't know how they do it. And I praise them. I pray for them. I feel my heart breaks for them. If anything, I cry more for them than I do for my own son, because I know he's gonna be okay. Like I know, you know, he's gonna be fine. You know, there's of course there's always that chance that they've told us, like, oh, it can come back, you know, we gotta watch him, which I know, but for the most part, I know he's gonna be okay. And that's, you know, what I'm grateful for, what we're grateful for, our family is grateful for. So, which is the video that you guys saw that went viral with him dressed up as a ghost. I kind of explained it to him when we were going. I said, you know what? You have a bump in your brain. You have a bump. And he says, is it from that time that I fell and I hit my head when I was at daycare and I had a little bump right here? And I'm just like, sure, it's from that time. I did explain to him that he has a bump in his brain and that we need to get rid of it. You know, this is his shrink machine. And every day we have to go to the hospital so they can heat. So the IV machine, you know how when you plug it in, it tells you battery's charging or like it needs battery. He's like, oh, I have to go charge. Or when we get there and they plug it in and he's like, Mom, I'm dying. And I'm like, don't say that. You don't say that. You say you're not charged. So he's like, oh, okay. So he has an idea, you know, the first couple of months were rough, you know, him having to be poked with and accessed, and that was hard, but now he's more used to it, that I'm kind of more okay. You know, he goes, he's like, oh, you're gonna poke me now, huh? And they're just like, yeah, we're gonna, and he goes, okay, just take my blood from my arm, don't take it from my finger, it's gonna hurt more on the finger. If you're gonna poke me, I have the spray to take off my tape because it's gonna hurt. So it's kind of like part of his life now. He's kind of adjusted to it. He's like, oh, okay. He counts days by sleeps. So he's like, how many more sleeps until we go to the doctor? And I'm like, 6 sleeps until we go to the doctor. Or you go back every day now. And he's just like, okay. So this last time we were there, was it last Friday? And that too, we haven't had many, I would say as our first incident where I had to rush him to the emergency room. His face got swollen. Like he kind of looked like he was like swelling up from his face. So I took him to the hospital. They checked him, his sodium and stuff. And they said, no, it's fine. What he got was rhinovirus. They said that he had a rhinovirus, and they kept us overnight. They did put him on antibiotics because we had chemo that following Monday. So when we were in the hospital those days, he was like, Mom, I'm bored. Mom, I'm boring. And I find things to do. I take him Legos, you know, that's what he loves to do with his Legos. I'll take him board games, kind of just something for him to kind of like not pay attention that we're there. It's not the fact that he's getting poked, it's the fact that he's like, I'm here and I can't do anything. Like, I don't care that I'm here, I'm happy that I'm here because they feed me every day. That's his reason for being there. But he's bored. He's just like, I want to go see my friends. I want to walk around the hallways and I want to see people. He's a people person. So he wants to meet new people and he wants to say hi and he wants everybody to see him. And he's just like, oh, look at me, look at me. So that's why we were on TikTok one day and we were just there scrolling through the videos. And that's when the ghost challenge came up and he was like, oh, look at mom, look at that ghost. And I said, yeah, it's a ghost. You can be a ghost. You have a sheet right here, a white sheet. And he was like, okay, let's go be a ghost. And I was like, oh no, I'm kidding. He was just like, no, really, let's go be a ghost. And I was like, okay. So I asked the nurses, I was just like, you know what? He wants to we're going to roam around with a sheet. Is that okay? I was like, I promise I'm not doing anything to him. He's a ghost. And they were like, okay, it's cool. So we went around and he actually got overly excited at one of the points, kind of like he was earlier. And he forgot that he was connected. Like he had his IV, he had his port accessed, and he took off running. And the IV poked out, like his port pulled out, like the whole needle just came out of his port. And he paused and he was like, Mom. And I was like, oh, Isaiah, it's okay. You're fine. And then he cried, of course, a little bit. And then they went and they accessed him back up again. And I was like, okay, no more being a ghost. We can't be a ghost anymore. And so he tells the nurse, he goes, can I be a ghost in my room? How about I just stand here and I charge, but I be a ghost in my room because I'm going to run again. And the nurse was like, after this, he still wants to go around and be a ghost. And I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know. He was just like, that's fine. He can be. So we sat in the room and I had him on the bed and I had him in the bathroom and I had him on the couch. And I was just like, okay, Isaiah, just don't run, please. He was like, okay, Mom, I won't run because then they're going to have to poke me again and I'm going to cry. And I was like, yes, you're going to cry. So don't run. He was like, okay, Mom, okay. So I kind of just found I noticed, I was like, you know what, we're here, but he's fine. There's nothing too serious going on. It's not like he's thinking like, oh, I'm in the hospital again. Oh, like I'm here again. Oh, like I'm boring again. So I thought it was fun. And I kind of posted the video on, my Instagram, and my sister was like, he's gonna be TikTok famous. She's 13. So she's a Gen Z, all into the TikTok world. And she goes, can I please post him? And I was like, it's fine. Yeah, you can post him. And he did. He blew up on her TikTok. And she sent it to FitFam and we got him on FitFam. And then we sent him to Iris Lopez on the news. And everybody was like, oh my God, I love it. And I was like, yeah. I was like, he had fun. It kind of hurt him a little, but he had fun. So I just finding ways to I thought it was great that they allowed us to do that. That we were kind of just like roaming around. I mean, it was nighttime. It was the middle of the night. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And everybody's like, Isaiah, you're still awake. And he's like, I don't sleep. So he was just like roaming around. And then I felt bad because the other kids are in the room. And he was kind of like, you want to be a ghost with me? And they were like, we're sleeping. No, you should be asleep too. But, like I said, I'm just grateful for him and, the kind of cancer he has. Like it happened for a reason. It's here. There's nothing much we can do about it now, but just keep him distracted from it. And it works. Like he's like nothing, kind of just living his best life. He goes to the hospital on a vacation. We go and he's like, are we leaving? And I'm like, yes, we're leaving. And he goes, but I want to stay the night. I want to stay here. And I'm like, what are you going to do when you stay here? And he goes, Mom, they feed me all day. They bring me food all day. Just leave me your phone so I can play games. But that's it. And I was just like, okay, so yeah, okay. We've got until next May, I believe, is when he'll be done with his chemo. We do have another MRI coming up in November. to see how his tumor is shrinking, how it's going. But he's fine. You know, I see him and I say, like, I know he's not fine, but he's fine. Does that kind of make sense? Like, I know he's. He's got cancer, but you look at him and you're like other people tell me, like, oh, it's not okay, he has cancer, and I'm like, I know, because he's fine. He's lying to everybody. It's a lie. Like, it's not real.
Right. And see, that was another one of my questions right now is where are you all on your roadmap and what's coming up next? So you're saying you have a MRI in November, you say?
In November. Yeah,
okay.
we have one next month in November.
Okay.
Under MRI. Not sure on a date yet.
Okay.
So we have that coming up, and then chemo. He should be done with chemotherapy by May of next year.
Okay.
They did let me know. They said, you know, if his tumor is gone before that, we could stop treatment, or we can finish the year, you know, to make sure we got everything, to make sure that we're not missing anything. And I did let them know. I said, you know what, I would rather continue out what he's got, you know, his roadmap, like you said, his year, than I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah. Very smart. And wow, you know, you did mention a couple of things. And so, you know, when you first heard the news, I think every parent that has gone through this can relate, because I remember when they first told me that Mia had cancer. After the word cancer, I don't remember anything. I don't remember what the doctor said. It was kind of like, I don't know, you're probably too young to remember the Charlie Brown cartoons where you would just hear mumbling on the background. Yeah, that's what I heard right after that. And I remember walking out of the room, and I don't even remember walking. I remember like if I was floating, you know. Yeah. And that is part of the PTSD, and that's part of the PTSD that you're gonna have. And you know, God willing, and we pray that Isaiah's completely healed from this, but that's something that's always gonna, you know, come back and haunt you. Yeah.
And no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. You know, now with COVID, the doctor's visits, we have to wait in our car. Mm-hmm. So we weren't even in the office when we were waiting. We were actually in the car taking pictures, Snapchat pictures. So he's like, let's send a picture. So I sometimes find myself like going back and looking at that picture, because we and I'll send it to you, because it's like a boomerang video that we took, and because I can't even wear those clothes. I wore overalls. Yes, I wore overalls. I wore overalls with a t-shirt that said Mama Bear, that somebody had given me. And I can't wear them. I have them up in my closet. They're just there. He wore some blue shorts with a button up. It was May, so it was like a pastel pink and turquoise color kind of button up shirt that I just look at it, but I can't, like, I'm just gonna get rid of it. Mm-hmm. I can't like wear it. Because we were staying in the parking lot, and we were, you know, playing around, and he was on my phone and using the Snapchat filters, and we were taking pictures. And I came out crying. I just remember I came out crying. I just I didn't know. I don't remember how I drove. I didn't remember how I drove from the hospital home. Yeah. I was kind of just like, what?
Yeah, it happens that way. And you know, you're strong, and you know, people tell me all the time too, you know, that I'm strong, and a lot of the times we don't feel it. but it's for our children, we would do anything that we needed to. One thing I can tell you, Valerie, is that you're not alone in this. I know there's a lot of support out there. There's a lot of support groups, and now you have a brand new family here with a Gold Corner. I know at times it can be tough, and let me tell you, it's one thing that I tell parents: it's okay to not be okay, because
Mhm.
once our child is going through something like this, we're not okay, and it's okay to be that way. So feel free to reach out to any of the support groups. Feel free to reach out. I can guarantee you a couple of the parents that have been featured here in the Gold Corner will probably reach out to you right after
Mhm.
this video, when this video airs.
Mhm.
So you do have the support, you do have that family. And of course we're going to be, looking at Isaiah, and seeing what what's to come for him. Do you
Mhm.
have does he have his own Facebook page? Do you guys have a GoFundMe where people can help you all? I know you mentioned, and it's difficult, we had to leave El
Yeah.
Paso, for treatment, and Mia's mom and I had to leave home, had to leave everything behind.
Mhm.
So is there any organizations? I know there's organizations that have helped you, but is there any, do you have a GoFundMe? Do you have some sort of fundraiser? Or even, does he have a Facebook page, Instagram, or even TikTok, anything that people can be following his story?
He is actually right now using my personal Instagram. I haven't made him his own personal, because right now it's easier for me to kind of keep track of one, where I'm just like, okay, here we go. I didn't make him a GoFundMe. I do have a lot of support from a little girl, actually, who I do want to talk about a little bit. Her name is Sophia. She reached out to me. Well, actually, it was like the middle of the night one night, and like the beginning of September, and I was looking for somewhere to make me a shirt for Isaiah, because it was Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And for me, of course, it's new. It's different. I was kind of looking into it, and what it is and stuff like that. And Proper Print Shop had actually posted a video of a little girl named Sophia, who was taking donations because she wanted to buy bears for the kids at the children's hospital. And I remember it's like 11:30 at night, and I texted to my mom, and I was like, I'm crying. And she's like, why are you crying? And I said, I don't know, I just think it's beautiful. And she just said, she's a little girl, I don't even know how old she is, and I feel so bad. I think she's 10, 11, and she's doing this. You know what I mean? I did talk to her mom, and her mother let me know, we do have cancer that's kind of running our family. And I did donate to her. I said, here, whatever you need. And she saw that Isaiah was one of the kids, and she said, oh my God, I want to get him a gift. I want to get him something. And I said, yeah, that's fine. So we actually met up with her. She got Isaiah a gift, and she was just crying. She was crying. She was like, I can't believe, him being so little, going through this. And I was just like, sweetie, he's gonna be fine. He's strong. I know you want to cry. You're gonna make me cry. But let's not cry, because he's okay. Like he's gonna be okay. Believe me, that's a whole other world, sweetie. Like I've seen other kids out have it, worse than Isaiah does. And she's just like, okay, I won't cry. And we actually, when Isaiah's video came back out, she reached out again. And this past Wednesday, she organized for a Spider-Man and Captain America came down from New York to see Isaiah. And she had posted a video on her Instagram. She has an Instagram as well. People, she's like, we're gonna do something for Isaiah. We have a surprise. If you want to donate something, reach out to me, let me know. And they did. They reached out to her. They donated to her, and they got Isaiah a whole bunch of toys and pajamas and gift cards, and it was beautiful. So she kind of is the one that organizes all that for us. Just because honestly, I will not, I'll kind of get lost in it. I'll kind of like start it and then not really know what to do, kind of just be like, now what do I do? So it was easier for her So I mean, she didn't just help Isaiah. She's given gifts to other kids. She gave another gift to a little boy named Dominic, who's 9 years old, who just finished his treatments as well this past Friday, I believe, that I saw. So she just takes all kinds of donations to help all kids. So for me, I feel like we're doing good, that I'd rather everybody's donations and stuff go to other families who do need it,
Right.
who do need that extra, because like I said, we're doing fine financially.
Okay.
You know, his dad's working, his dad takes care of everything, and we love him so much. We're grateful for him. You know, like I said, we have a roof over our heads, we have food on the table, we have Isaiah's got all his medical bills taken care of. My parents, my grandparents, if anything, my uncles are the owners of the Vista markets.
Okay, there you go.
So we, like I said, for us, it was like, you know, of course, a little bit more would help everybody, but we are fine to the point where I'm like, I'd rather it go to somebody else who really does need it, who really does need that extra financial help. So for us, it's like, if you can send your money to another kid who really needs it, please do that, because I promise you, Isaiah's great. And I have people who are like, well, can I send him a toy? Can I send him? I'm fine. Go ahead and send him all the toys you want, because it gives us something to do at the hospital, you know, for the times that we're there, you know.
Right.
People have asked if they can send him costumes. So he's got all kinds of costumes. After his ghost video blew up, he went as Darth Vader one day, he went as Spider-Man another day, he has Kylo Ren, he's got a Ghostbuster, he's got a ninja. So for me, it's like, you want to send, you know, of course, him something, but as far as financially, I'd rather it go to another family who really, you know, needs it, where it's like, you know, especially with COVID right now,
Yeah.
we're grateful enough that their dad is working, that he's had a job through all of this. My parents as well have had a job through all of this. So, you know, we're taken care of. We know that it wasn't like that for other kids, other parents. So we'd rather it go to somebody who really needs it, who's like, they've got one parent working or this. But as far as, you know, and I don't want it to sound like I'm bragging. Like, I kind of don't want to make it seem like oh no, we're okay, like, you know, like, I feel because I did have one lady who she got kind of upset with me when I was just like, no, it's okay. You know, we don't need it. We don't need. She's like, oh, I guess you're too good for. I was just like, no. I'm not too. I promise you, I'm not too good for. Because again, everybody can use a little extra, but I know there's other kids, other families out there who could really use it more, which is the reason behind us not starting a GoFundMe or anything, any kind of fundraiser for Isaiah. I'd rather it go to Sophie, who's helping kids, who's gifting other kids going through and parents going through.
Right. And I was about to also ask that once you do have the information or whatever information you have on social media about Sophie, if you could share that with us, that way we can put it on the description so people can reach out to her too. And for those of you, because we have an audience literally all over the world. I mean, there's people that tune into the Gold Corner from all over the world. If you guys don't know about Vista Market here in El Paso, they have the best menudo, the best aguas, and just very good. So yeah, Vista Market's very good. So
we're okay.
That's good. Well, that's good. Well, Valerie, before we finish this video call, I always ask the parents that are featured here to give us a little something, to give us maybe the parents that are going through the same thing that you are going through, just some advice, and even the parents that have perfectly healthy children. What can you leave us with?
keep moving forward. Keep this just, have you seen the movie Meet the Robinsons?
Hmm. Yes.
Keep moving forward. It's one of Isaiah's, I call him um what's his name? Lewis. So
Okay.
him and his brother are Lewis and Gooby, because they look like the characters. And that movie just, oh, it touched my heart, and it's got a wonderful message. Keep moving forward, which is something that it's stuck with me. So it's gonna get better. You're like, I have you guys have me, you guys have a lot of people even that I've came across, and my family and my friends and everything. You guys are not alone, because we all just keep moving forward together.
There you go. We got to keep moving forward. There's no reason to look back. The only reason you're looking back is just to see how far you have gone.
Mhm.
So one thing that I that Isaiah and you and all your whole family will need is prayers. So for everybody that is watching this episode, I do ask for prayers for Isaiah and for his brother and his mom and dad. I will be tagging Valerie when I do upload any of the videos, so you can reach out to her again if you have any questions, if you just want to give her a word of encouragement or whatever it is that you need. I know she would be more than happy and more than willing to lend an ear and be able to talk to you. So once again, we pray for a complete healing for Isaiah. We know that God is will do, and whatever He started, He will finish with him. So we
Yeah.
just yes, He has, and we have a lot of hope. I have a team. I have a prayer team. I have a group of people that pray. So Isaiah, yourself, and your whole family will be in our prayers from now on. So Valerie, once again, I know that it does take time, so I wanted to thank you personally to for just have taken the time to be a part of this Gold Corner, and for telling your warrior story, and for encouraging other parents and other kids and that are going through the same thing. So thank you very much. You have a family here, you have a brother here, and we're literally in the same town. So whenever you need
Yes.
anything, we are here for you. And for all these other parents, like I'm telling you, I can almost guarantee you're going to start getting a lot of friend requests from other people that are part of the Gold
That's
Corner
fine by
community.
me.
So
Again, you guys have me, and thank you for having me, and letting me share Isaiah's story, and for letting him spread his spooky cheer. That's what he calls it. His spooky holiday Halloween cheer for this month. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
right, and he's running the same hallways that my little girl was running at one point as well. So yeah, that makes it even more special. So Valerie, once
We're
again,
there together.
yeah, exactly, she's looking out for him. So thank you very much. I also again wanted to tell all the audience, thank you very much for tuning into this week's episode of the Gold Corner. We thank Valerie, her son Isaiah, and her whole family. Please keep them in your prayers. And again, I will be putting her information, tagging her and this little girl, Sophie. Check it out. I haven't seen it myself. I will be seeing it myself, but it looks like this little girl's doing amazing things. So let's help her out as she helps out other people from across the country and even around the world, all these other children that are going through the same thing. So once again, thank you all very, very much. You have a good rest of or beginning of the week. And like I always tell you, remember to live each day to its fullest, because tomorrow is not promised. Hug your children, love your children. Let's pray for our family. Let's pray for our nation, and just hold on a little while longer because we're almost home. God bless you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.